Basis of Scientific Research. Lecture 8. The theme: Writing term papers, thesis, annotation. A term paper is a research paper written by students over an academic term, accounting for a large part of a grade. Term papers are generally intended to describe an event, a concept, or argue a point. It is a written original work discussing a topic in detail, usually several typed pages in length, and is often due at the end of a semester. There is much overlap between the terms research paper and term paper. A term paper was originally a written assignment, usually research-based paper, that was due at the end of the term, either semester or quarter, depending on which unit and measure school used. However, not all term papers involve academic research, and not all research papers are term papers. So it is a critical and analytical report of the topic or subject that you covered within the course of studies. It usually consists of two separate but equally important aspects: your own thought about the topic and a demonstration of your understanding of the existing literature. The main goal of this assignment is to summarize the material you learned and showcase your understanding of the topic. This aspect makes the term paper a universal instrument for assessing a student's proficiency. It also explains why term papers cost so many points of your course grade. We usually associate a term paper with research paper, but although the concepts are quite similar, a research paper requires a more academic approach and a deeper investigation into the literature of your field of study. To write an outstanding college term paper, you must understand that your professor has requested it in order to test your analytical thinking skills. You must collect relevant data, analyze it, and then make a summary or solve a particular problem. Such skills are highly relevant to the world, so this type of the task is as practical as it is education. In the initial stages of your research, investigate everything you can find on the topic. You may sound like a tall order, but you'll find that it doesn't actually entail that much reading. The term paper summarizes the knowledge you gained within a course and requires to familiarize yourself with the research that other people have already made on your topic. So remember that your professor may be familiar with all the literature surrounding the issue, and if you write someone else's thoughts and present them as your own, be prepared for criticism. So, methods. After mention the research methods that you use to answer your question. This part should be a direct description of what you did in one or two sentences. There is no need to evaluate validity or obstacles you might have encountered in this part. The goal is not to give an account of methodology, but to give the reader a quick insight into the overall approach and procedures you used. And next, conclusion. Summarize the main research results. This part of the abstract can be the present or past simple. Provide the main conclusions of your research. And conclusions are usually written in the present simple tense. If your aim was to solve a practical problem, the conclusions might include recommendations for implementation. If relevant, you can briefly make suggestions for further research. In the discussion, you must present the interpretations of the problem. And in the body, focus on those arguments that prove your thesis statement. In conclusion, summarize both the content and purpose of the paper. The most challenging part is not to make it too dry. Reiterate your thesis statement and briefly show how your results justified your proposition. At the end, you can suggest a call to action or pose a rhetorical question or statement that leaves your reader wondering. So, do's and don'ts of the term paper writing. Do's: write down every idea you have. Follow your outline. Then remember to cite your sources whenever you refer to someone else's thoughts or works. And peer check your work with a colleague. Nobody is perfect, and your project will probably benefit from another pair of eyes to check for faults. And Don't presume that all your ideas are original. Don't be afraid to start writing before you have finished investigating all the literature. Don't try to overwrite. This approach seems like a charm to most students, but it can be a real dilemma for those who want to write everything they know. And don't simplify your language. Your use of language is a good indication of your level of thinking. When you use words with specific semantic applications, you are demonstrating your knowledge too. As for annotation, it's extra information associated with a particular point, a document, or another piece of information. It can be note, includes comment or explanation. Annotations are sometimes presented in the margin of book pages. For annotation on different digital media, see web annotation and text annotation. How to write it. So you have already done some work. Now it needs to be properly designed. And you will understand that it is absolutely not a problem. The main thing is to follow the basic rules in the following tips. Include the main theme feature. Write briefly and to the point. Highlight the main thing. Tell the essence of the work without going into key details. And the last is annotations are written in the same style as the work was done. It should be clearly and dryly stated all the information. For a project, this means the following. Specify the topic. The essence of the project is the purpose of its writing. What problems analyzes, what focuses attention on, what are the results of the study analysis, conclusions based on the work done. What you need to know before you write an annotation. As a person is met by closing and scientific article meet on the summary. Here task is to show that the author is able to systematize and analyze information as well as briefly, coherently, and clearly explain it. How to write an annotation to the article so that the work looked as presentable as possible. It is recommended to insert the following speech turns. This article argues. This article introduces the study. Particular attention is focused on. Characteristic features are distinguished and described. The relevance of the article is. The author traces the information, provided a rationale for outline views on. And the following literature will help you for getting ready for this theme.